Hello, I'm Anne and I'm 50 years old. I just thought I'd do a little video chat thing concerning mental health, really. I know there's a lot of it about, especially nowadays. We're all struggling a bit, aren't we? The thing is, I've been struggling for a long time. Well, since I was about 5, 6. I've been a complete basket case. I've got something called emetophobia. What the bloody hell is that, you say? Well, I'm afraid of vomiting. No idea why. Basically, I'd rather have a baby than throw up. That's how bad it is. The only thing I can think of is that when I was at primary school, about 6, I had the most hideous of teachers. I'm going to say her name. Tough tits. Mrs. May. Not Teresa, not that one. Remember the little bottles of milk they used to make you drink when you were a kid? Some kids loved them. I hated it. It was cold and icy in the winter. It was warm and disgusting in the summer. Didn't like it. Vile. My mum kept sending letters to the school. Anne doesn't like it. Can you please excuse her? Blah, blah, blah. This teacher, no channy. Because Annie's going to be made to drink it. So she sat me down with another girl who had red ginger hair and an eye patch. Poor cow had a lazy eye, so she had to have an eye patch. Her name was Emma. Emma, God bless you. I hope you haven't gone through what I have because of this incident. But the teacher stood over us and said, you will not leave this classroom until you have drank all that milk. You will not go out to play. Bearing in mind I'm 6, 7, bloody terrified. Old Emma next to me, gagging like a all over the place. It was horrific. I couldn't drink it. I just couldn't. And the teacher lost her patience and said to both of us, you're pathetic, you're disgusting, and all the rest of the shit that goes with it. Anyway, that's the only thing I can think of, because since then I have been terrified of vomiting. I've had 2 children, which obviously morning sickness, horrific, absolutely horrific. I thought I'd have to end up in a nut house. So going through my teenage years, so cut a long story short, when I was 18 I thought I was going to do lally. Thing is, then in the 80s, it just wasn't talked about. So, my parents didn't know what the hell to do with me, and it was a case of, maybe it's her period starting. Right, so I don't know why I'm laughing, it's not funny. Anyway, so now I'm 50, and I've been on antidepressants for years. My anxiety makes me feel sick, so then it gets worse because I'm afraid to be sick. I end up having the shit. I'll shit myself dry sometimes. But the funny thing is that I like to sing, I like to go on the stage, and I force myself to do those things. I literally force myself. I enjoy it. But the period before doing these things, I think, Anne, you're a silly twat. What have you put yourself through this for? Why are you doing this? What if you throw up on the stage in front of all those people? It's just ridiculous. But you have to force yourself to do this stuff. You have to step outside of your comfort zone. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in that comfort zone, and how boring is that? And I keep forcing myself to do these things to see if it'll make it go away. But it hasn't. I guess I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life. I don't know. But the worst thing to happen, really, is that my mum was diagnosed with esophageal cancer about 6-7 years ago. She couldn't swallow. So what's she doing all the time? Being sick. So absolute terrific fear and nightmare. What the hell is wrong with her? We didn't know what it was. We just didn't know what it was. Anyway, it was diagnosed. She had a big tumour in her esophagus. And, well, it's hard to recover from that, really. And it was just horrific. And then she ended up having a big tumour in her brain, and she passed away. And watching your mum take her last breath and holding her hand and telling her to go, it's just, well, it ain't great, is it, really? At the time, I thought, I can cope with this, I can deal with it. I was heartbroken. But we're now 5 years on from that night of her taking her last breath. And I'm just, I don't know whether it's that PTSD, post-traumatic thing. I keep thinking, Anne, it's been 5 years, for crying out loud, get a wriggle on. People are going to be sick to death of you moaning and going on about it. And I know if my mum was here, she would say, Anne, pack it in and get on with it. Because that's the generation they were from. That's what they did. They just got on with it. Anyway, I'm not quite sure where I've done this video really, but it's been quite nice talking to you. It's just good to talk about it and not feel like you're going doolally tap, really. And sometimes I just feel like I can't function. But you do, don't you? I've got dogs to groom, got songs to sing. Mind you, people might not want to hear the song singing, I don't know. I've just got to get over, well, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.